So I am going to expose an area that is right next to Hillsborough, and the town is called Antrim. So off of Route 202, there is an Elm Avenue, and then there is a Turner Hill Road about 2 miles down off of Elm Avenue on the right. So if you take Elm Avenue, you make a right on Turner Hill Road, and you go for about 2 miles. There is a road on the right that is called Old Milk Road on MapQuest. However, on the New Hampshire Road Atlas, it is just called Milk Road. However, that road is unmarked when you drive over there. So I'm guessing that this is Old Milk Road or Milk Road. And it has a small blue sign that I think advertises cross-country skiing. And then there is this orange triangle sign, and I believe that is a sign for construction. And then there is a number 109 posted underneath that construction sign, but there is no street sign on that road. So the road has a lot on the left-hand side, and then there is a stretch where there is just forest on both sides of the road. And there are no houses for, I'll say, a half mile or a mile until you reach the end, which is a dead-end road. And there's a house on the right with what appears to be a horse stable in the front yard. And then on the left, there is a house with a large stone out in front. And on that stone, they have an engraving that says Taco Acres. And there is a picture of a taco. They have 2 posts on either side of the driveway. And they have some cheesy Christmas wreaths on each post. They look rather cheap. And there is the address, I guess, number 31. And above that is another sign that advertises cross-country skiing, I believe. So I did not know if that was a place to go for skiing in the area. And they call that place Taco Acres. But that is what they seem to be advertising for. So I returned the next day and I went down that driveway to see if I could get some information on what Taco Acres was and what cross-country skiing trails they have in that area, because I could not find anything on the internet for Taco Acres in Antrim, New Hampshire. So the gate was open. They had this sign for Taco Acres that seemed to advertise for cross-country skiing. So I decided to go down that driveway and take a look. So the first thing that caught my attention was that they have a 5-car garage. So I guess they either like cars or a lot of garage space. The house appears to be relatively new. However, it does seem a bit weathered. If I had to guess, I would say that house, if it was recently built, I would say it's 5 or 10 years old at the very least. But still, they do not have the front of their property finished with a driveway or anything. Yet they have all these pieces of construction machinery. They have a mini excavator and a Kubota tractor that either has a bulldozer attachment or a plow attachment. And on the side yard, they have what appears to be other pieces of construction equipment, including what looks like a concrete mixer. So if you notice, there is a sign that advertises James Rodriguez Hardscapes. And I guess that hardscapes usually means people that put in stonework, like patios and walkways. So I don't know if they're about to do work on this place and install a driveway. But it is kind of odd that they would have all this construction equipment all placed on the side of the house where it appears to be their personal property. So maybe James Rodriguez lives in this house, or maybe he's about to do some work. But anyway, the odd thing is that they have a house here that looks about 10 years old, and they got signs out front advertising it as Taco Acres. They have signs for cross-country skiing, and they don't even have a proper driveway. But they have all this construction equipment all around the premises. So you'd think that they'll use some of that construction equipment and just spread out some gravel so they wouldn't have these piles of dirt all over the driveway of what appears to be an expensive house. So who knows why a nice house like this was built with a 5-car garage, which implies that they might like cars, and then they would neglect to put in a driveway. Even though they have all this construction equipment around the house, a lot parked in a side yard, so it looks like it's their personal construction equipment. I looked up James Rodriguez Hardscapes on the internet, and the only thing that came up was a website with a P.O. box number in Peterborough, New Hampshire, and a phone number. There is a front yard that has a pallet with 2 containers placed on it. One looks like a blue barrel that's been cut in half, and the other one might be a dishwasher or something like that. And there are 2 construction cones placed in front of those items on the pallet. I could not really see, but in the background appeared to be a garden, because there appears to be a fence around it, and there are some signs, including one that looks like a sign for cross-country skiing. So I looked up cross-country skiing for Taco Acres or cross-country skiing in Antrim, and nothing came up. Still, you can see what appears to be 4 or 5 signs, all different colors, on this post, but I cannot make out what it says. Other than that, it looks like a fenced-in garden. So I am now returning to the footage I took on the first day I went up there, and I am driving back down Old Milk Road, and I made a right on Turner Hill Road. So you go down a little ways, and then there is a sharp turn, and Turner Hill Road just continues on until a dead end. So on that sharp turn on Turner Hill Road, there is this larger house on that corner, and it too has a sign, and that sign says The Farm on Riley Mountain. And I looked that up on the internet, and there was no information or a website about the farm on Riley Mountain. However, there is a Riley Mountain in the area. I guess this area is right next to Riley Mountain. On the atlas, it appears as though it is right next to Riley Mountain. Looking at the numbers on the post, there appears to be a 1-1. But again, there's no information about the farm on Riley Mountain on the internet. So if you look at this house, it appears to have 3 entrances to it. And then to the left, there is a door with an overhang over it. That part of the house looks like it's on 1 floor. And it kind of looks less like a farmhouse or an actual house. And it looks kind of like a place of business. So across the street from the farm on Riley Mountain is a field, is a big empty field that is gated in. And right there on the field, by the gate, someone has appeared to light some wooden posts on fire. So I don't know if the farm on Riley Mountain is some sort of bed and breakfast where their customers can spend some time out in the country. But then this kind of looks out of place. Someone has decided to light some wooden debris on fire in the field right across from this little quaint farm on Riley Mountain. So they've obviously burned some wood, what looks like old posts, right in the middle of their field across the street. So it looks kind of primitive. And when I zoomed in on it, you can see that there are nails and screws among the ash. So it looks kind of like a nice place. They have a nice sign out front. And then they are burning railroad ties or posts out in the field across from their facility. So it looks a little strange. So on the left is another field. I guess this may belong to the house next door. And I really can't make it out. But I guess that is a sailboat. And then there is this metallic piece of equipment, and I cannot make out what that is too well either. Next on the left is a tree, and it looks like somebody has removed the bark. There appears to be sawdust underneath the tree, and then there is this flat area on the trunk of the tree. So it seems that someone has either cut part of the bark of the tree trunk off with either a saw or something like a sander. And then on the left is a blue box, I guess. I really cannot make out what this is. If it's just a piece of garbage or if it's a kid's toy or what. Then on the right is a sign that advertises this property as a Meadowsweet Farm. And it's number 156. So I looked up Meadowsweet Farm in Antrim on the internet. And this one did have a website. But the website was very simple and did not have too much information on it that I could see. It says build a free website on tripod. And then they had World Lotto advertised on this build your own free website. And then they have a photograph of 3 individuals. And it says from left to right, Susan, Bob, and Sayi. And then underneath that photograph was a photograph of a young boy, photographed by himself. And then underneath that, it says, "This is the Bernstein's family's website. We live in Antrim, New Hampshire. Our names are, in order of youngest to oldest, Say, Sam, Susan, and Bob. We hope you enjoy our site, as Sam put a lot of work into it." Then it says, "P.S. Sign our guest book. P.P.S. We are sorry about the difference in the URL and actual site name." So besides that, they did not have too much information on that website. And when I clicked on their photographs, there came a prompt saying I did not have the latest Flash player, so I would need to download it. And they had the prompt for me to download some sort of Flash player, so I did not want to do that. That's how you could get viruses and stuff in your computer. But anyway, here are the photographs that they put on their free website here. They don't say anything about their farm or what they do there. And I zoomed in on these people's faces so that you could get a clearer look. What is kind of unusual is that when you zoom in on the older guy's face, from far away it looks like he is wearing glasses. But when you zoom in on it, it looks like someone has used some sort of photograph editor to kind of smudge away the glasses. So I don't know if those are rimless glasses, and you really cannot make them out when you zoom in on it. But it's kind of odd that from far away they look like glasses, and when you zoom in on it, they look extremely blurred, as if he's not wearing glasses at all around his eyes. So I guess this is Meadowsweet Farm. And right after that, there is a smaller property with a cabin with a green roof on the left. And on the right was another property. And straight ahead, you'll see that there is a dead-end road. The road came to a stop where a hiking trail picked up. And I believe that this hiking trail leads to a nearby road called Ashley Road. So turning around and going the other way, I saw that there was also a sign for the smaller property with a green roof, and the sign said "The Cabin." So turning around and going the other way on Turner Hill Road, there is this other area with some firewood stacked up. So there is a black trailer, there is a wood rack where they have some wood stacked up, and then there is this very neat pile of wood right in front of that. So that is right next door to this tiny house. I do not know if this is part of Meadowsweet Farm. I'm guessing it is not because it has its own address and it is marked as 157. In the back there is some sort of wooden piece of furniture or a rack that is covered with what appears to be a plastic tarp. And then there is a little shed on the left with what seems to be a rider lawnmower with a basketball beside the lawnmower and a green ball on top of the lawnmower. They have a small orange tractor. They have a pile of logs, and I do not know if that is part of Sweet Meadow Farm or if that belongs to the people that live across the street at number 157 Turner Hill Road. So I did not notice it on the way up, but there is a driveway on the left, and it is marked with a sign that says number 18 on it. And there is what seems to be a longer driveway, and it kind of heads back in the direction of that area marked as the farm on Riley Mountain. Now, what is very interesting is on MapQuest, they show a trail leading from this area right where this farm on Riley Mountain is, and it goes up behind the property somewhere, and the trail ends on a road called Whitney Road. So this trail is connecting Whitney Road with what appears to be the farm on Riley Mountain. Somewhere behind this property is a trail that leads over to Whitney Road, according to MapQuest. And on the New Hampshire Road Atlas, it just shows Turner Hill Road going straight up and connecting with Whitney Road. So I drove over to Whitney Road, which is right off of Route 202. So I am now driving up Whitney Road. And once you get about halfway up, you start to notice that the properties begin to look a little disheveled. And they seem to get worse and worse the farther you drive up. So I slowed the video down so that you could get a closer look at all the houses in this area. They appear to be in very bad shape. There is just junk piled everywhere in their yards, and some of these houses even look abandoned. For example, this trailer has what looks like rust coming off the roof and staining the side of the building, and the front door appears to have been left open. At the top of Whitney Road is a property with a lot of junk in the yard, including a truck with the name J&J Chimney on the side of it. They have also stacked tires on the top of that box truck. And then there is a camper trailer. Looks like it may have been damaged and then patched up on the side with wood. The property is extremely disheveled with junk all over the front porch. They have 3 vehicles in the front, all with their hoods left open. And there is garbage all on the driveway. So that is where the road dead ends. But there is a trail that is leading up a hill into the forest. I was too busy looking at this nice piece of real estate. I wish I got a better shot of the trail going up the hill into the forest. But again, looking this up on MapQuest, this trail connects this road, Whitney Road, with Turner Hill Road. So it's very interesting that on one side you see stuff like this on Whitney Road, basically the slums of the area, and that connects with an area that looks like the land of bed and breakfasts, all marked with their quaint little country names. The Farm on Riley Mountain, Meadowsweet Farm, Taco Acres. It looks like a yuppie's paradise on one side of the trail and a redneck nightmare on the other. So who knows if these two neighborhoods are related, besides the fact that they're connected with the trail that leads from this house over to the farm on Riley Mountain.